Hey everybody, Unstable Gamer here, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Disney Mirrorverse. We have a very special video for you. This is the first beginner's guide that I'm making for the game for Global. We have Global just right around the corner. We also have a little bit of news that we may be able to play it early, so we're going to go ahead and talk about that too. But first, before we do, if you're just now finding this channel and you want to stay up to date with this and other games, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, and welcome back. So we have a lot to discuss, so let's go ahead and just dive right into it. First, we have global launch on the 23rd. We have an update coming out on the 21st, which as of the recording of this video is tomorrow. Hopefully you catch this between now and then. But during that update, I'm hearing that this game is supposed to be available in all regions as well. So you have an opportunity to play the game early, which is awesome. And then obviously we have the official global launch happening on the 23rd, which all the cool stuff and everything happening, right? But you have an opportunity to get in early. If you want to check this game out, definitely check it out and download it. Let me know what you think. All right, with that, let's go ahead and take a look at this game. This game I would classify as a real-time action RPG. So you are going to build a team of 3 Guardians, and you are going to be continually swapping between them, or maybe you're going to just control one of them, but you can hot swap between them during battle live. We have basic attacks, heavy attacks, and then we have ultimate attacks as well. So a lot of cool stuff happening. The battlefield can get a little busy, but it's exciting, and it's pretty cool stuff. So what are Guardians? Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. Guardians are your characters that you're going to be collecting in this game. You have heroes, you have villains that you're going to be using to create these 3 character teams. And currently there are 44 different Guardians in this game. Now, we just heard, and 2 days ago, actually, as of the recording of this video, Disney Games announced that Zurg is coming to the game, which is great. I don't know when he's coming to the game. I'm assuming fairly soon, maybe for global launch. But Zurg's coming to the game, which is going to be very cool. You have different types of Guardians. You have your tanks, you have your support, you have your ranged, and you have your melee. As far as Zurg, I'm going to guess, since he's got his blaster, he's going to be a ranged Guardian. So some pretty cool stuff. As you get in here, like I said, you're going to be battling the fractured, seeing that whole story unfold, which is pretty cool. But yeah, and as you collect these characters, you collect them through the crystals. Different crystals give you different odds. I'll just show you really quickly. If we take a look at the different crystals that we have, I'll just jump into this crystal here, hit the info button, and you can see what your odds are. Like this crystal here, 70% of the time, 70.5% of the time, you're going to get a 2-star Guardian, and it's not going to be Anna. So just keep in mind those famed crystals. You do have an opportunity to get the featured hero, but the odds are just a little bit lower. And they also cost quite a bit. They cost 100 more than the typical stellar crystal right here, which is 180, which gives you an opportunity to get a bunch of these heroes as well. I think it's an equal opportunity for all of these, but you can see what star level you're going to get, and you can always scroll through here and see which Guardians are available. All right, so those are Guardians. That's the type of game this is. Let's talk about energy in this game. This is an energy-based game, so you want to make sure that you manage your energy appropriately. There are 2 types of energy, though. So you have energy there that regenerates 1 energy every 6 minutes. So in an hour, you get 10 energy with a max of 100. So it takes 10 hours to max out your energy. Keep an eye on that, because every 6 minutes past that 10 hours, then you're going to be losing out on energy, and you're not going to be very efficient. Those of you familiar with energy-based games are pretty familiar with that anyway. And then you have dungeon energy. Dungeon energy refreshes once a day. So when the dungeon comes out, you get 80 energy. Every day after that, as long as that dungeon is open, you get 40 energy. Now that does carry over from one day to the next, but the energy does not carry over from one dungeon to the next. So make sure you spend all of your energy before that dungeon closes and a new one starts. All right, so there's your energy. So when it comes to these types of games here, the big question is, especially with energy-based games, what is the best use of energy? So my opinion, the best use of energy is going to be used in the story. You want to get as far in the story as you can, because that's where you're going to get a bunch of motes. You're going to unlock different game modes, and you're also going to get a bunch of orbs. The orbs are going to help you with doing some summons so you can build up your roster pretty early. You want to be careful with orbs, though. You don't want to overspend them, because then you're going to get locked down. And then you got to build orbs back up, and that's just going to slow your progression down, so just keep an eye on that. All right, so once that's done, and once you get as far in the campaign as you can, then you can start taking a look at the other game modes to use your energy on. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Is there premium currency in this game? Absolutely, we just talked about it. Those are orbs. If I click on orbs here, you got your orb shop, you get different bonuses. If you want to spend 50 bucks, get a bunch of orbs, you can unlock Mickey. Mickey is fantastic, so those of you who are pay to play, you'll have a great time with Mickey. And if you're pay to play, you probably don't mind dropping 50 bucks for a 4-star character and a bunch of orbs that you can use for summoning and help you get further in the game. If you're free to play, you're not going to worry about this. Just again, if you're free to play, make sure not to overspend on your orbs. Now, your orbs, what you use orbs for, there's a couple of different areas like we just looked at. You can use orbs for summoning, but you can also use orbs in your bazaar as well. So with that, what do I feel is the best use of these orbs? Whenever there's premium currency in a game like this, in an energy-based game, most of the time it's best to use that premium currency towards energy recharges so you can get further in the game. You can do more in different game modes so that you can further level up, star up, and rank up your different guardians. So that is still my opinion in this game. However, when you first start a game, especially global launch or the first time you get into a game, you do get showered with a bunch of resources, which is great because it does help you early on. It's not sustainable. So again, you don't want to overspend, but I would do a few pulls. I would do a few crystal pulls. I would go into the crystals here and do the 180 ones. Don't use the 280 ones. It's a waste. Do the 180 ones, pull anywhere between 5 and 10, depending on how many that you have, so you can start diversifying your roster, because that's going to be very important in this game, because different roster, because of a more diversified roster, is going to help you get further in the dungeons. It's going to help you get further in the tower. It's just really going to help. You do, again, need to make sure that you know kind of what you're doing, where you want to go. Look up other people's thoughts and opinions on different characters as well, because this game's not like an idle game where you can pull resources out of a character and put them into somebody else. Once you devote resources, that's it. That's done. Don't want to scare you, but that's how these types of games work. However, there is a lot of flexibility here, and there are a lot of great characters. So just kind of a heads up there. So those are orbs. In my opinion, the best use of orbs. Get some pulls, start diversifying your roster a little bit, and then start using those orbs for energy recharges, but don't overspend your orbs. Always keep a good stock of orbs, because orbs I will also use for the dungeon. If you go into the dungeon here, we'll talk about dungeon mode in just a minute, but the store, I typically will always buy the first 2 tier bundles so that I can get further into the dungeon. Dungeons are going to be great for farming resources as well, so you can continue to level, rank up, tier up, do all that cool stuff with your guardians. All right, so next, game modes. Good segue into game modes. The different game modes we have, obviously story mode, your typical campaign. See the story unfold, which is great. You have normal, you have hard, and you have expert, so there's a lot to do here. In other games, you can go ahead and you can farm the story mode. In this game, there's no point in it. There's no benefit to it at all. It's a one and done. So as you get through it, then you start focusing on the other game modes, which are supply runs. This is where you're going to farm a bunch of your resources. Depending on the day will dictate which gems are available. So day 1, you've got your diamonds and your rubies. Day 2, we've got some sapphires, some emeralds on day 3, so on and so forth. But every day you can always farm gold, and you can always farm motes, and you can choose which mote you want to farm, depending on which guardian currently that you're working on. Now, gold, talk about gold a little bit. That is, in this game, I feel where the biggest pinch is. We definitely don't get a lot of gold, and the prices are high. Does that change at global launch? I don't know. We'll see, but we'll talk about that as well. But you definitely want to do some gold farming also. All right, so that's supply run. You have tower. Tower is a great mode. It's a lot of fun, especially since now that we have these trait-based towers that overlap. So if we have royalty tower, if you want to see who's in the royalty, who has royalty trait, you can just click on royalty and you can see the different guardians there. Seafaring, same thing. And the great thing is that they overlap. So if you get as far as you can, maybe you can only get up to 12, for the seafaring tower, but you can get all the way up to 15 or 20 on the royalty tower. So you get as far as you can in one, and then you start working on the other, which I think is great. This is the game mode where you're going to get a lot of books and pages. Books and pages are very important to leveling up the different talents for the different characters. So some very cool stuff there. Next, we have events, a lot of events. There's always an event going on, so there's always stuff to farm. By the time you get into this game and start playing, whether it's on the 21st during this kind of global soft launch thing, or on the 23rd, which is the official global launch of this game, you're going to be able to jump into Tiana's volatile venture, as well as Stitch's little glitch. And you're going to be able to collect a bunch of different resources in there, which is cool. And then 1v1 showdown is always there. That's just where you take one guardian. It's a one-on-one battle. It's kind of cool. It's a great way, in my opinion, to really start getting familiar with some of the guardians and their abilities. So I like playing around in there, especially when a new guardian comes out. So keep an eye on that. All of these game modes use the regular energy. So keep that in mind. Dungeon, this is where you have the separate energy, which is great. I'm glad. In here, dungeons are where you do a bunch of farming as well. It's very specific to a type of guardian, right? Ranged, melee, tanks, support. So maybe one dungeon you want to put a whole lot into, another dungeon you don't. I suggest going all out on all of them because you really need to build up your resources. Always go for these dungeons. Make sure you max them out. Make sure you always spend all your energy in here and get as far in the dungeons as you can because you get some cool stuff. The different event rewards here are actually down here, sliding down here at the bottom. You can see what you get. If you want to get up to 23, you need to get 23,000 points there. So some cool stuff. You got some leaderboards. So at the end of the dungeon, you get some rewards based on how far you make it, which is cool as well. But that is dungeons. We got a whole video planned for that. We'll go into dungeons a little bit more, but those are the different game modes that we have as well. Alliances, as you can see, we do have alliances in this game. Make sure to get into an active alliance because there's some resources that you're really going to want that's going to help you in the game as well. Make sure that you're contributing to your alliance as well. You got daily crystal missions. That's just opening different crystals. Daily melee mission. Now this changes based on the specific type of hero. So it'll be melee, or it could be support and tank, or it could be ranged. So always keep in mind in there, and that's just where you go in, you use those specific heroes or defeat those specific type of enemies when you go into battle. You'll get to a point where you can auto-complete. You just auto-complete a node. You'll get the points for completing the node, but you won't get points for using specific guardians or beating specific enemies. You got to actually go into the node and battle, live battle in there in order to get those points. So something to keep in mind. Early on, it's not going to matter because you're going to be in there. You're going to be actively fighting anyway, so you're going to rank up a lot of points. It's later in the game when you get higher up in the ranks and your levels where you don't get as many points unless you just actively go in there and do it. Weekly Stellar Journey, that's just a whole lot of stuff. You're leveling up your different guardians. You're opening up crystals. You're doing all sorts of game stuff that's contributing to your Weekly Stellar Journey. And then you get different rewards based on how far you get in that. And that is collectively as an alliance. All of these are. And then Delve Together. Delve Together, that is just dungeon. You go in there. You go into your dungeons. And you get through your dungeon as quickly as you can. The goal here is to unlock all the rewards as much as you can because you get laurels. We'll talk about that now because we're going to talk about in-game currency. Different in-game currency that we have. We have gold, we have laurels, we have stardust, and we've already talked about hordes. So just really quick, gold, again, you're going to want to stockpile that. You're going to want to be careful when you use that because you're going to be using large amounts of that. We'll talk about how much you're going to use when we talk about progression in a minute. But definitely keep an eye on your gold and your gold farming there. Laurels, as you complete your alliance missions, this is the only way to get laurels, and that's where this store comes into play. So we do have Goofy and Donald in there. They are always in there. I don't know if that's going to eventually rotate, but those two are always in there. And then all this other stuff is always in there as well. So as you purchase the limit in there, it takes a few days and then it's going to refresh. So just keep an eye on the timer, but this is a great place to get universal motes. It's also a great place to get diamonds outside of farming supply run for diamonds. Very few places where you can get the universal motes. And we'll talk about motes when we talk about progression, but that's where the laurel store is. Stardust, as you get duplicates of your guardians, you're going to get stardust. Stardust can be used to purchase character shards to help you get further up in the ranks as well. So my whole thing here is I don't use Stardust on a Guardian unless I'm very close to getting that next star level. Otherwise you just go through so much of it, and you're going to do a lot of summonings anyway, so you might as well use Stardust as kind of a last-ditch effort to get to that next rank. All right, so that is Stardust. I think we talked about all the in-game currency there. We talked a little bit about character progression, so let's talk about that. If I go into here, I'm just going to use Ariel because we can get a lot of information out of Ariel. So with the different ways to progress your Guardian, you have levels right there, level 60 of 60 right now, rank 6. I got to go to the next rank in order to get to level 70, so on and so forth, all the way up to 100. Level 100 is max rank right now. As you may have saw just a little earlier, so you have the player level, and then you have the different levels for the Guardians. Max player level right now is player level 200. So just kind of a heads up there. So we have ranks and we have levels. Next, if we go to talents, you have talents. Hold on. Let's go back to overview. Let's take a look at upgrade. This is where you can see what you need, right? So here's the gems that I need. The requirements that I need. So I need to be level 60. I need to be 4-star, and I need 3 melee guardians at level 50. Again, this is where a diversified roster really comes into play because you're going to be counting on your team and your roster to help build up your team and your roster. So I need 1 more melee guardian to hit level 50, and then I can move her up to the next rank, to rank 7. But as you can see, it's 75,000 gold. It's expensive to start ranking these to rank these characters up. So keep that in mind when you start making your choices there. So talents. This as well, you got different talents. Talents increase. You can increase the level of your talents to increase the effectiveness of your talents. If we take a look at this level 8 talent here, Vital Tide, level up. I need. Let's see. I own 8 of these books right here. I only need 2, so these are rare books, and I need 17,500 gold. Now, if it comes down to a choice, in my opinion, and how I play it, if it comes down to a choice between leveling and ranking up a hero or a guardian versus leveling up your talents, I go for leveling and ranking up the guardian first, then I go for talents. Yes, it's always great to level up your talents so they can be more effective. I just feel you get more bang for your buck, so to speak, when you go up in levels and rank first, and then talents later. So that is talents. So like I said, gold is the pinch in this game. And then milestones. Milestones is a way to rank up as well. You get different rewards, but you also get stat boost increases. You also get signets. Signets are for your signature ability, and as you level those up, you get special, you get improvements to your abilities. We'll take a look at that here in just a minute. If I go down to rank 15, come on, there we go. Then once I get here, then I get a bonus attack and defense. But in order to hit that, check this out. I have to get 4 melee guardians to milestone 12. Again, diversifying your roster, always keeping that in mind, because that's how you max out your tiers here, and that's also how you max out your guardians. So make sure to keep that in mind. If we take a look at abilities here, and my signature ability right here, so area special ability cleanses, you can see what it does. As I increase this level, then it's going to increase the effectiveness of this ability. Let me scroll down. So if I go up, so like see 17.4, you can go ahead. You can see that attack increase. You can go ahead and max this out. I wish there was a way you can just slide all the way to 100 so you can see what the max is. But you can always see what stat increases by improving your signature ability. So as well as you can always see that in your talents as well. So if I take a look at this talent here, if I was to level this up, I can't see what level 10 gives me, but it does tell me what stat improvement or what improvement I'm going to see at that next level. All right. That's progression. That's how it works. Those are the different resources that you need. So let's talk about other in-game resources. So if we go to Guardians, then we're going to have experience motes. These we've talked about. Different motes allow you to get to a certain level, right? So this mote here, the minors, allow you to go from 1 to 20. The majors go from 21 to 50. And then the superiors go from 51 to 100. The universal can be used anywhere, so you can use them in conjunction with the role-specific ones so that you can go ahead and level up a guardian as well. So, or you can use all universal, or you can use all specific role ones. It doesn't matter. You can use a combination, all or nothing. So those are your motes. Gems, the cool thing about gems and books, again, ranking books go towards leveling up your talents, whereas gems go towards ranking up your guardians. Now, you can use lower tier gems and books to get to the next tier, to get more of the next tier diamonds, right? So as you can see, tier 2 diamonds, I've got 145 of 200. Once I hit 200, I'll go from 12 to 13 of 20. I can always go in here and I can sell these, right? Now, if I just wanted to do this, I could just go down. Let's see. Let's just sell 2, which gives me 20. Let's sell that. You get a little bit of gold. I get 20 of those, and it's going to give me 165 out of 200. So you can do that for each one of them. So you can do that for gems. You can do those for pages and books as well. So, or just pages, right? So you have a certain number of pages. You can sell those. You're going to get a lot of commons. These commons as well as tier 1 gems. So you're going to have a lot of opportunity to improve those up to the next level. Now, obviously, once you get a little bit higher, then it becomes more rare. But you're going to be able to trade in a lot of those tier 1s and commons. And those are the only 2 resources that you can do that with. You can't do that with moats. And then, and that's it. That's pretty much it. That is pretty much the entire game. Those are your guardians, how you level them, the different game modes, the different resources, my thoughts on where best to spend energy and orbs. We got a lot going on in here. Very excited to finally see this game get out in the open. We've been in beta, soft launch now for over 2 years. And now we're finally down to seeing everybody get this game and see what everybody thinks of it. I'm very excited for Gabam. I'm very excited for this game, and I'm very excited for all of you to finally get your hands on it. If you have any questions or anything, definitely let me know in the comment section below. Like I said, I've been playing for a few years now, so I should be able to find the answer for you. If I don't know it, I should know it. I guess we'll find out. But definitely drop your questions down there. Definitely let me know what you thought of the video. And that is what I had for you, everybody. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.